Who is Janette Jordee? You all know her as the host and executive producer of Global Inspiration. But what makes her life inspiring? What is it that motivates, drives, and inspires her? What is her one passion in life, and why she started this show? Find out now. Happy New Year! Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season and that this year is going to be much better than the one we left behind. Kicking off our show this new year is a woman who is a champion for women's rights and is involved in many community services. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Janette Jordee, host, executive producer, and one of the driving forces of Global Inspiration. I would like to remind everyone to please click on the subscribe button and the bell button so you get notification every time a new video is released. Please welcome Janette Jordee.
Thank you very much, Margie. It is an honor to be a guest. We're turning the table around this time. I am the guest and you will be doing an interview. And for the people to know better of me, and I hope my story could be an inspiration to many.
For our viewers who don't know much about you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am from Davao City, Philippines, the same place where President Duterte was hailed from. My mother retired as a master teacher, and my father, who is now deceased, was a bank employee. I am the oldest in a sibling of three, and the next one to me is a licensed teacher, and she's currently in Japan. And the youngest brother is in the Philippines, and he is a farmer. My parents, especially my mother, when we were growing up, she inculcated in our minds to be kind, to be respectful, to be considerate, and don't let anyone treat you less than what you deserve for. I am happily married to Tim Jordee. I have a son, Jai, and I have two stepkids with Tim, Dylan, and Spencer, and from my previous marriage, Marnell and Dariel.
Good to know. So what did you do before you came to the US?
That is a very good and very interesting question, Margie. I used to work with the Supreme Court in the Philippines, but I have a very adventurous attitude and I want to explore the world. I was in the four corners of the Supreme Court. So I quit. I explored life. I was into a lot of businesses. I have a baker's creation, which is a gift shop. I have a restaurant in the marketplace. I was into retail, I was into investment, and I also own an investigation company, CIMS, or the Corporate Intellectual Management Services, and we go after the manufacturer of products who produce them as a bootleg, bogus, or fake. An example would be Marlboro or Winston cigarettes, Johnny Walker Black whiskey, Levi's jeans, and most of our clients are outside of the Philippines. So I finished my law school, I finished my MBA, I was a registrar of AMA Computer School and was also a member of the faculty. So after enjoying life, exploring life, I went back to Supreme Court again.
How long have you been in the US and what were some of the most challenging things when you first came here?
I will be in America for 20 years next year. The first visit I had was in December 10, was on December 10, 2000. And coming from an 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit temp-wise to below zero, we have a big snowstorm that day, December 10, 2000. And I don't have any gloves, I don't have any scarves. So my former parents-in-law picked us up at the airport, but my body was already reacting. My feet are stiff, my hands are stiff, my whole body is stiff, even though I was already wearing gloves and scarves, and they soaked me in hot water, in a tub, but it doesn't work. But now I am telling you and the viewers, I love winter. And it's good I moved from Iowa to Wisconsin because there's no much difference. So first is the weather. Second, I would say, is the system itself. In the Philippines, we don't consider ourselves rich. We are normal, but we have maids and we have drivers. In America, you have to clean your own house, you have to drive your own car, and it trained you to be independent. And being an independent, it makes you stronger and braver. And that's one of the many things I love America. You have to be independent. So we have the weather, we have the system, and I would say the language. Even though I learned how to speak English at a young age of, I think, 2 or 3, because they asked the baby, "What is your name, baby?" So we answer in English. So I used to teach in Iowa at Buena Vista University for 5 years. And the first semester, a student approached me and said, they call me Janette because they don't call ma'am or sir here. So they said, "Janette, when are we going to turn in our project?" In the Philippines, my students would ask me, "When are we going to submit our project?" So it's turn in to submit. I am not a wide reader, so I don't really know the difference. And also in America, someone could tell you, "I like your tops, I like the color, you look good." But you can never say, "I like your bottoms." So I could not tell the difference why. But again, it's weather, the system, and the language.
Yes, those are very common challenges when you first come to this country. So how and when did you start getting involved in community service?
I would say at a young age, maybe before teen, maybe 9, I love to volunteer, but because of financial constraint, because as I've said, we don't consider ourselves rich. If the transportation is free, I can volunteer. But if we have to pay our own fare, I would say maybe next time. But it was in Ateneo that I started because my deep inside me, my heart is craving to do a volunteer. So I was a member of ASIL. So to Ateneo, ASIL means Ateneo Catechism Instruction League. We go to squatters area and we teach the kids catechism. After a session, after every Saturday, I feel so good deep inside me and I want to do it again. So, but when I moved to America, that's when I spread my wings. In Iowa, I was a member of Kiwanis organization, a nonprofit organization. But it was when I moved to Wisconsin from Iowa that I let myself loose as far as volunteerism. I am a member of a lot of organizations, of nonprofit organizations, both in America and in the Philippines.
So in 2019, you received the Hall of Fame National Award for Excellence in Community Service. Can you tell us about that experience?
That's a good story. I Until now, it's been a year. I still could not believe that I was awarded a National Hall of Fame. So last year in May, I received an email from the Philippine Embassy asking me to be a guest in celebration of the Philippine Independence Day. That is June 12th. And it's a work day. So I asked my husband to take a leave of absence from work. I also took a leave of absence from work. So we went to this big building and there are a lot of prominent guests. And I was telling myself, oh my gosh, I did not expect that it will be this big. I talked to older women, younger women, men, and then I introduced myself. I've been the president of PAMANA twice, the Philippine American Association of Medicine in neighboring areas. And they asked me, what is the highlights being PAMANA? So I told them that one thing that I consider to be a highlight is when I moved or brought the assistance for Yolanda survivors. So from Philippines, from America, I traveled to the Philippines, but it was transferred. It was money transferred through a bank. And I went to Iloilo. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family members. I don't know these people. I was there for 2 weeks helping them. And I have only 5 business cards with me. So I was not able to give them all to this guest. And I was surprised in August or October, I received another email. And then said, like, you are nominated for a National Hall of Fame award. Like, who are you? Because the name doesn't sound right. Who are you? Where did you get my contact information? And then she said, it's Tita Vero Layton. She is the main organizer of the event. And then she said, we spoke last December, or I'm sorry, we spoke last June 12th. So she asked for biodata resume. I only gave highlights. And then after 1 week, she contacted me again. Janette, come to Chicago on November 12th because you will receive Excellence in Community Services National, and the Philippine ambassador received the same award on the international level. So I could not believe that I was the only one who represent Wisconsin to be the winner. But again, I received the award, but that award is dedicated to all the Filipino Americans in Wisconsin.
Why do you think it is important to empower women? And what are some of the things you do or have done to accomplish that?
Empowering, coming from a third world country, the Philippines, empowering women is not on my list. I did not plan that I will be a speaker. I will be doing a lot of activities to empower women. Empowering women is very important. We are equal. And when we say we, I am referring to men, women, and members of LGBTQ. We speak, and the voice of the women are not listened to. So we keep on pounding and we keep on repeating ourselves. I am a member of Zonta International, and in Madison, they have the Zonta Madison Club. And the mission of the organization is to empower women through service and advocacy. That's why I joined it, because the mission itself touches my heart. And Zonta volunteered a lot of stuff for domestic abuse, which is domestic abuse intervention services. You cannot volunteer. You have to go training 26 to 32 hours. So it is very important to me because our voice as women are not really listened to, and this is the time that we have to do something.
You're also a warrior against human trafficking. So, how did that come about?
That's good. I like the word warrior because when I hear the word warrior, it connotes bravery, an experienced fighter. And I know why people are calling me Janette is a warrior when it comes to human trafficking, because I speak myself. I express that I don't like human trafficking. When I hear the word human trafficking before, I did not really dwell on it. I keep, from one ear to another. Oh, human trafficking, I know they don't have any approval, and human trafficking, I know about it. But when I joined Zonta, they do volunteering to prevent domestic abuse. I'm sorry, to prevent human trafficking here in Madison. It is existing in Madison. And then when I trained for days, domestic abuse intervention services, they tackled human trafficking because there was an overlapping regarding domestic abuse and human trafficking. And then when someone, the founder of Regeneration International, whose mission is to save the survivors of human trafficking in the Philippines, she asked me to give a speech. I did a lot of research to give speech regarding human trafficking in the Philippines. It touches my heart. So I am talking regarding domestic abuse, regarding human trafficking, not just only in America, but also in the Philippines.
You are also a community response ambassador for domestic abuse intervention services. Can you tell us more about that?
Oh, I am I am talking about being the community service advocate and also ambassador for domestic abuse and intervention services. I am a very hands-on person. I want to be on the field. I want to actually talk and touch the survivors. So when I volunteered for Zonta International, which is all over the world, they talk about domestic abuse. I was trained. Being a community response advocate, I am the first person face to face talked by the survivors. I talk to them what is the abuse and all about and how they could help them. Being an ambassador is different. I give speeches all over Madison, nonprofit organizations, government agencies, fashion shows, and the person, my audience, maybe numbers from 20 to 200. And I love being the community response advocate and ambassador at the same time. So I think I took like 36 hours to be trained to be both this community service advocate and the ambassador. And I love doing that.
Good, good. So now we're gonna move on to something else. It's global inspiration. Tell us the story behind that.
Global inspiration, I did not expect global inspiration would be as overwhelming as it is right now. So when COVID, believe it or not, global inspiration was done because of COVID. So mid-June, I watched TV, they're all negative. What's down to COVID? I listened to the radio, it's all negative, what's down to COVID? I talked to my family members, I talked to my friends, they're all negative. Again, COVID. And I was telling myself, life is not that bad. We have to join hands together to fight this pandemic. It's not negative. There's something positive about life. So it took me several weeks to think, how could I inject something positive to the community? So I was thinking, since I am a Toastmasters, I have experience doing that. I have no problem talking. And then it dawned on me, why don't you have global inspiration? You interview people with inspirational life. So the birth of global inspiration. The original plan is to have one guest a month. So I had a face-to-face interview with Mrs. Wisconsin. I asked my husband to have his professional videographer's son to take the first video. So it was taken, and then first day, second day when it was released, no feedback. Oh my goodness, after 2 weeks, like, Janette, why are you making it only for once a week or once a month? Do it once a week, like very overwhelming. And then less than a month, I received a call from Chicago if it is okay to release the video where I am the host to a cable company in Chicago. It's so overwhelming. And then I received all this positive feedback from the Filipino community for doing this show. So I am okay with that, but I cannot do it all by myself because, I am just using a regular camera. So my husband, my family members, and my friends supported. We invest in spotlights, camera, tripods, and everything. And now, Global Inspiration is doing a weekly show, and I am happy that I have contributed, you have contributed, and the Bruce family asked, when I asked that I need another host, and the Bruce family is so overwhelmingly and heartwarming accepted that we can help you. Margie, asked that I could be your co-host, and my husband has an experience as a TV editor. So it was a long process, but again, it's going back to normal. And both Margie and I don't have experience as far as YouTube in and outs, so we're still learning about that. So, global inspiration.
Yes, and we are learning every day and we're getting better.
Exactly.
So we know that you're passionate about community service. So if you were to say what your passion in life is, what is it?
So I was asking myself that last night. What is my passion in life? I even asked my husband, what is my passion in life? Because I noticed that when you age, your passion in life changes. So I am telling my husband that my passion in life, I would say, is helping others. It doesn't have to be financial help. More is about time. And then show them that you love them, you respect them, and they will remember that. So I would say it's about helping others.
Aw. So is that what motivates and drives you and inspires you, is helping others?
Yeah.
Okay. That is so wonderful. So,
Thank you.
so then, what is the one thing that you want viewers to take away from your inspiring story?
I would not say it's a one thing. There's a lot of things, but I can only give two. I would say do respect. Respect be re- do respect as a virtue. And when we do respect as a virtue, we recognize that the basic human dignity of others exists even though we have different views and opinions. Respect all human or living creatures, whether they are humans or animals, whether they're members of LGBTQ, whether different skin colors, different races, different financial status, whether they're poor or rich. And we have to remember that we have to respect people with different religion and political beliefs. That is respect. Second, I would say is about adapting change. There's so many things that you plan your life to be. I did not plan to be in America, but here I am in America. I did not plan to do a lot of community services, but here I am. All my time is about community service. I have a full-time job. Even though it doesn't work the way you plan it to be, adapt change and accept it and go with it. So it's respect and change, adapting change.
So, you're doing all this work and you do community service, helping others and everybody. What do you do for fun?
Well, what I do for fun, I love gardening. When I was growing up in the Philippines, every time whatever plants I put in a pot, it all dies. So my mother said, "You don't have a green thumb." And I'm a kind of a person that the more you tell me I don't have a green thumb, the more I will do it. So I love gardening. In America, even though we only enjoy spring and summer growing plants, I proved to myself I can do it. So we have a bigger lawn. So I love gardening. It is a therapeutic therapy for release for me, a therapeutic stress reliever for me. So it is because of this gardening and love of plants that I created a group, a project, Share the Bloom project, where I give plants for free. We have two care centers in Wanaki that I am giving plants every spring. I give flowers to the homeless, and I give plants even to strangers and to my friends. I give them like 3 or 5 pots if they want. And I also love, now that we have global inspiration, I love interviewing people. I want to know them better. And it gives me joy that they are happy that they are being interviewed. And if I have more time, I would say if I have like 15 or 30 minutes, I love watching investigation discovery. My friends, investigation discovery is about crime investigation. And because of my background of law, like the more I am exposed on how these are all true to life stories. That's why I love investigation discovery. So I garden, I interview people, and I watch this investigation discovery.
So, is there anything else you want to add? Something that I have not touched that you want the viewers to talk about?
So I want to tell the viewers that if you don't know how to volunteer, because when I met my husband, he said, "I want to volunteer, but I do not know how." But there are a lot of people that I could not give you a lot of money, Janette. Volunteering doesn't need you give a lot of money. Your $5 or your $10 means a lot to people who need money. So if you do not know, ask me. If you do not know what organization you want to volunteer, you want to donate, ask me and I can refer them. I can refer you to them.
Good. So, thank you so much, Janet, for sharing your inspiring story with our viewers today, and hopefully they've come to know who you are and what you do, and take inspiration from all the things that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, thank you all for watching, and this is Margie Bruce here at Global Inspiration, where you need to be seen, you need to be heard, and be an inspiration to the world.